I've always kind of thought of James Wan as the modern horror master, but after watching X and now Pearl, I think it's time we put Ty West in that conversation. Let's discuss. Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Do or do not. There is no try.
So I've spoke about this many times recently, but X from earlier this year is one of my favorite movie theater experiences in recent memory. To me, it was everything I was looking for in a horror movie that I do not typically get from modern horror movies. In X, Ty West found a way to pay homage to 70s horror while also giving us something fresh and unique. Well, Pearl does something very similar, but instead of paying homage to 70s horror, Ty West decided to show some love to the Technicolor age of cinema.
No shit.
Which was a really interesting creative choice in my opinion, because horror movies like this really didn't exist during that time period. So what we get is a brutal, twisted, violent horror film shot through the lens of a period piece and brought to life with the vibrant colors of The Wizard of Oz. Yet another unconventional choice by Ty West that has paid off in dividends.
I like it a lot.
This movie quite literally feels like it was released in the early 1900s, complete with the opening and end credits to match. It really feels like they tried to make the film look as authentic as possible for that time, and I can appreciate that. Pearl is a origin story for the sexually frustrated old lady from X. Now in any other situation, this would be chalked up to Hollywood revealing too much. But believe it or not, Pearl actually manages to do something that's kind of unheard of, especially in modern cinema. And that's that it actually enhances X rather than ruining it with too much explanation.
Get the fuck out of here! No, I cannot, it's serious!
It's a fine line to walk, but I think director Ty West balanced that line brilliantly. We really get a sense of how and why Pearl is so fucked up in X when we meet her. In fact, Pearl shows her to be even more fucked up than we originally imagined. I don't send this kind of praise out often for a horror movie performance, but I strongly believe that Mia Goth deserves some kind of recognition for Pearl.
You love me! You really love me!
In fact, I would go as far as to call this a star-making performance. I think she was that good in this movie. She has this amazing talent and look where she can make herself look innocent and vulnerable one moment, and then she can instantly flick this switch and everything changes about her character. And I truly mean this when I say it, but her whole performance made me feel uncomfortable in the best way possible. There's this moment in the film where she has this monologue of sorts, where she explains everything she's done up until that point. And not only is this an incredibly impressive delivery of dialogue, but the range of emotion that she goes through in this scene, and in effect makes the audience go through, that type of thing cannot be pulled off by just any actress. Because one moment you feel sorry for her and want to comfort her, but then the next moment you're like, everyone needs to get as far away from this crazy bitch as possible.
But you one crazy ass bitch!
Furthermore, we get to see how Pearl's home life pushed her in the direction of wanting to desperately escape that life by any means necessary. This is why she so very strongly wants to be a star. Not only to use her fame to escape, but as a star in her mind, she will receive the love and attention that she so desperately craves and does not receive from everyone else. In fact, she wants it so bad, and if you factor in the isolation she's feeling in this film, this is your recipe for a very unstable person.
I'm just gonna bash your brains. I'm gonna bash them right the fuck in.
This is honestly the type of acting and character development that we do not typically get in the horror genre. And honestly, I think we need more of it. Because horror can be so much more complex emotionally than it typically gets credit for. There's also this natural progression to the kills in this movie. And Pearl's exploits grow and grow and grow throughout the film in very organic ways.
Is it just me, or is it getting crazier out there?
We quickly go from severely harming someone in a somewhat heated exchange to eventually killing someone brutally with a pitchfork. And each kill is a result of Pearl feeling more and more rejected and judged by people in her life. One of my favorite scenes in this film involves Pearl stalking one of her victims. The scene takes place in broad daylight and has a very slow build to it, so much so that it makes you feel very uneasy and it feels that much more real when it's taking place. I just thought it was very well done.
Goddamn right, that's the only way I work, Cap.
In addition to all the murder and mayhem as well as the deep, emotional character moments, this movie also feels like a love letter to cinema in general, and also how cinema can impact people. In fact, that feels like the emotional core of the entire story. And there's many small moments in this movie that relay that message. There are even parallels that are being drawn to the COVID outbreak in this movie.
A what?
Now, in a lesser movie, that would probably come off heavy-handed and clunky. But in this movie, it works because talented people are working to make it feel organic. I was thinking about it after I left the theater, and I honestly can't believe that this movie was even released in theaters. If for no other reason, it's just not your typical Hollywood movie. So I have to give props to A24 for backing this idea and making sure that it was released.
You son of a bitch.
And honestly, I think now, with the announcement of the third film in this trilogy, Maxine, which is clearly going to pay homage to 80s cinema, I'm not kidding when I say this has the potential to be one of the best horror trilogies of all time. I truly believe that Ty West is doing something special with these movies. And in a way, he's kind of reinventing the genre by taking it back to basics. And honestly, I think the genre needed a bit of reinvention because everything was starting to feel a bit stale.
Jesus fucking Christ, it's about time!
In conclusion, I think Pearl is a must-see for horror fans, especially if you enjoyed X the way I did. It was truly one of the most unique experiences I've had watching a horror film in recent memory. It's disturbing, it's emotional, it's brutal, it's beautiful, it's colorful, it's got a little bit of everything. It features a brilliant partnership between an underappreciated star and director who deserve a lot more recognition after this film. Pearl was such a unique experience, I was locked in the entire time, and I haven't stopped thinking about it after I watched it. So that's why I'm going to give Pearl the elusive Bill and Ted.
Excellent!
Y'all be cool. Nah.